Hello, I'm Carolyn Baker, and I want to invite you to join me at Rowe Conference Center, February 23 through 25, 2018, for a very powerful weekend workshop, Mining the Dark Gold, the Hidden Wisdom of Shadow Healing. Carl Jung said that everyone has a shadow because from very early ages, we've learned how to disown parts of ourselves that don't fit with our image of ourselves, or because somebody else has told us to send them away. And so we reject those parts. It's as if we carry a long black bag behind us in which we stuff these parts. And the bag just keeps getting longer and fuller. We do that in order to survive, but in the long term, we pay a big price for it because eventually the shadow doesn't just lie there quietly in the bag. It begins to make itself known to us in many ways, most of which aren't pleasant. It may manifest as an illness or very often as some other kind of crisis in our lives. Jung tells us that shadow material that isn't dealt with doesn't just go away. It eventually comes back to bite us. Now, the other problem with the shadow is that because we have disowned it, we tend to project it on other people. When we have strong reactions to other people that may be totally unfounded or maybe even somewhat founded, it's likely that they have stirred something in our shadow, and we'll tend to project the shadow onto them. Obviously, this creates a barrier or many barriers in a relationship with that person. And you see, when others trigger us, they almost always show us our shadow. Our shadow also causes us to feel shame, and sometimes we don't even know why we feel shame. In fact, this long black bag of shadow tends to weigh on us heavily. And it can sap our energy and lead us to feel depleted, lacking creative energy, and really feeling alone with our shame and our secrets that relate to shadow material that we're carrying. What's also true is that just as individuals have a personal shadow, cultures and countries have a shadow as well. Jung called this the collective shadow. Now, in our workshop at Rowe, we're going to deal with the collective shadow as well, because the collective shadow influences all of us in many ways. And perhaps the most obvious way is that very often our personal shadow is hooked or activated by the collective shadow. But we all want to heal the shadow, and so how do we do this? Well, that's what our Rowe weekend is going to dive deeply into. Now, it's a blessing and a gift that we can do this work together because none of us has to do it alone. It's challenging work and hard work, but the rewards are phenomenal, especially when we have a safe container to do the work in and are supported by other people doing the same work. Well, what are those rewards exactly? Why should we come together and make the investment of time, resources, and energy to do the work on the shadow for a weekend? Well, here are just a few reasons. First, when we come together to do shadow healing, we get to see that we are not alone because everyone else has a shadow, and when we join together to heal it, we feel supported and cared for, and this facilitates our healing. Secondly, we can't do shadow work unless we feel safe. This workshop is going to provide a safe container in which we not only feel connected, but protected in doing this work. Thirdly, almost everyone who does shadow healing work reports that they feel lighter, more energetic, and more creative as a result. It takes a great deal of energy to keep carrying that long black bag and keep the shadow repressed. After years or decades of doing so, and usually without even knowing it, our vitality and our creativity are drained. But when we develop a conscious relationship with the shadow and invest our time and energy in healing it, we notice that much more aliveness and creativity are available to us. And finally, healing the shadow even a little bit tends to improve our relationships. Among other things, we naturally feel more compassion for others because we have become so much more aware of our own shame and shadow, and we feel how much other human beings are carrying too. Doing this work tends to open our hearts for more capacity to receive and give love and make us more available for authentic connection. I really want you to join me at Row, February 23 through 25, 2018, so that as prospectors of the soul, we can mine the darkness and discover the shadow's gold together. I hope to see you then.